today we're playing mechanic. So this here is my 2015 Honda CRF 250R. Great, got it recently, loves it, it's fantastic. Except I rolled it down the hill and managed to rupture one of the radiator tanks. So now it leaks coolant. I've been waiting for parts, we got parts in for it now. Now it's just a matter of swapping it over and then trying to bleed it. I don't know how hard this is going to be to bleed. I presume it's just like a car. I don't know, we're going to find out. So let's take it down to the shed and give it a shot. You quite done there? I'm thinking we do today a little different. We're in I suppose we're in the season transitional period. Let me grab the mic. We're in this seasonal transition period, and there's a few things I want to get going for it. One is this should just be going all year round. There's no reason for it not to be going. I figured rather than just going around and doing all these things, which is what we're going to be doing anyway, let's talk about them. Let's have a little chat about what these are and why they're here and what the story is. Most of this is already pretty well known. There was an eye gap on it. But we can still talk about it nonetheless. Now we're learning together, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll be honest with you, I don't know how to do this.
Stay fly, hustle through the sky, moonwalk on clouds, stack it up, cheddar, feeling better, proud, mind sharp, cutting through vibes, samurai sword, dropping bars, hit like a freight train aboard.
So this is the 2015 Honda CRF 250R that I ended up buying, and it's been brilliant. I had to replace the clutch on it. That was it was a bit more of a drama than it should have been, but it wasn't too bad. We got it sorted. But the story of this is we got it because my younger brother really wanted to get into motorbikes and to learn to drive motorbikes. So this was what I got to pair up with him. I personally, prior to this, haven't driven much or ridden much dirt bikes. It wasn't a thing I did as a kid. I was always more into four wheels. So let's do a quick comparison. This old one is properly mangled in comparison to the new one. It is night and day. This one it's also twisted like it is. I stuffed this up.
Scribbled on city walls, stand tall, fortress of rhymes, never falls.
Going back to the motorbike story, I ended up getting my bike license, my road bike license, and having an absolute ball on the road with the motorbike. And the whole reason I got my motorbike license is because I went on a trip with some friends to Vietnam, and there we were riding on the back of scooters like everywhere, and there it's really chaotic. But I fell in love with that, the chaos, the just being out in the elements. It felt like a video game. It doesn't feel right, like you shouldn't be allowed to do it. And getting my license and getting my bike was exactly like that. And then when my younger brother said that he was going to get a motorbike or a dirt bike, I was like, well, I liked it on the road, why not try on the dirt? I will admit, although it's mostly slower, it is way more terrifying to get into than road bikes, I personally think. Because you don't have less control, but the bike moves underneath you way more than the road bike does. All right, let us see if we can start. Oh. You want to go, come on. Oh. Next job is do is front brakes, because you are tight. And from my first dirt bike to my first road bike. You gotta stop barking at motorbikes. Yeah, you gotta stop. So this is I think it's a 2024, might be 2023, I can't quite remember now actually. Royal Enfield Continental GT 650, I think it's called the Dark or the Dark Edition or Dark Horse or something like that. Basically, it's all the frame and everything's all blacked out. This was my first road bike, and the reason I got this was because, well, before I get into that, let me tell you what we're doing. We're gonna do, I think it's its second service now. So I got the first service, I'm pretty sure it's out of warranty now, so I was just gonna service it myself. Never done it on this, I don't know what to expect, quite frankly. I don't even know where any of it is. But yes, we're gonna give it a service. So this was my first road bike. The reason I got it is because I love the cafe racer aesthetic, and I wanted, because I didn't know much about bikes, although I've worked on cars plenty of times, I wanted something newer so then if I ever fiddled with it, it was more likely to be more reliable. Overall, I think it's turned out pretty good. It's slow, it's not agile, it's quite heavy, but it's so much fun. The reason I got this one specifically is because here in Australia we've got a restriction on how many, I think it's cc's or power to weight ratio or whatever you can have whilst you're on your L's with the motorbike. And this fit in there, so that's the whole reason I ended up getting this one. It was the only new one with this aesthetic at a reasonable price that I could get all of this at.
Gotta look at that little float. See how much oil is in it. I think she's good. Stella!
This is something truly special. So we're going from my first bike to my first, I suppose, forever car. And it's got a really cool story behind it too. Firstly, we need to address something that's happening under here. I'll show you what I mean.
Miraculously fixed itself. I swear this did have a problem, but now it's not. It like spewed fuel out the back. Well, I might still rip it off and replace the gaskets. Got my new gaskets.
So what this car actually is, it's a 1975 Ford XB Falcon John Goss Special. This is a father-son project. So my father, he bought this car for peanuts back in the day. It was in complete bits. There was no motor, there was no nothing. It was just all in bits. He just kept it because he was going to have a parts car. As you've seen, there's other cars here that he, thought were interesting, and he was going to use this for parts for any of his other ones. I one day pointed this car out to Dad and I said, I really like the green on it now. And it didn't look this good back then, but I said, I really like the green. And he turns around to me and says, why don't we build it? Why don't we make this your first car? In neutral.
Still looking really good. Oh, it's black.
Stay fly, hustle through the sky.
Said, why don't we get it ready for when you get your license? Well, a few things went wrong.
Jesus Christ, who did that?
So, first of all, I thought when that was going to be the case, it was going to be like a proper father-son project. I was going to learn how all the mechanics and everything work. I was going to be taught all of it. We were going to be, turning spanners together. Turns out my dad doesn't know anything about working on cars. He knows the bare minimum. But the positive side of that is I learned a lot of other things with what we did with this car. So we obviously took it around to a lot of professionals who did all the work on it. And through that, I learned, a lot about communicating with people, talking on the phone, being a good sort of like more presentable salesman, sort of kind of a role. I've learnt so much from it that's not car related, like not related to this car, that I use daily. It was meant to be ready by the time I had my license, which was going to be, I think it was like 18 months at the time. Didn't happen. It's ended up being 18 months in pain. It took forever. I think after 4 or 5 years, it was finally on the road and it just had a litany of problems. And at this point, I was getting really early and really just sort of starting to get into cars in terms of working on them. So every time it broke down, it gave me the shit because I didn't understand that these things happen. It's a project car, it's all new bits, stuff's gonna break on it. And it broke down so much that every time I went to take it out, I was just so scared it was gonna break down. Gotten to learn more and stuff like that, I now absolutely adore it. And it's running really, really good.
Ideally, I'd take this for a drive so I can recheck the oil afterwards, but it just started raining and I don't want it to rust, because it will, even though it's all freshly painted and treated and loved.
And also now it's like when something breaks on it too, it's like almost, as long as it's a small thing, it's almost like, oh sweet, I get to work on it. I get to see how things were done when we got it all organised.
Show you what these mirrors look like. Hang on. That little aperture there is my mirror. You can't see a damn thing. They're dreadful. All you rely on is your spatial awareness, hopes and dreams. Can't wait till we get proper summer and I can take that out.
I have no idea if I was in frame for any of that, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm not. I realise now that you're just going to hear me before I turn the lights on, and during and after.
What's to bet I'm going to make one hell of a mess of this because I don't have any smaller containers. Oh God. Nah, let's try and figure something better out because this just isn't going to work. I can see it going horribly wrong. I'm not going to filter you when I come in. Jesus Christ. Who's been putting on all these oil filters like so goddamn tight?